vocational education. We thank you for our chairperson, Senator Cayetano, and the rest of the members of the Senate, especially the EDCOM Commission, formerly headed by our dear colleague, Senator Win Gatchalian. We pray that whatever we do here will make sense and will help our country and people, especially our young people whom we consider the hope of our nation. We love you, we praise you, and into your hands we commend everything. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Thank you.
Amen. So, for my opening remarks, since ito first hearing natin sa Congress na to, and we have a new CHED family, of course, led by the Honorable Dr. Shirley Agrupis, and with such an honor and privilege to meet you and be here and hear your 7-point agenda, ma'am. So, having said that, since it's the start, I'd like to reflect on the book of Genesis. Diba? Genesis or beginning. Alam nyo nung sinabing we are made from God's likeness, yung ibang interpretation, likeness and nature. So kung nature ng Panginoon, makikita nyo all throughout Genesis, from chaos to order, from darkness to light, and all throughout wanting the best for His children. No, so I'm not talking about religion, I'm just talking about what is supernatural, what is natural, and anong hugot, anong foundation, anong basic. So kung lahat tayo anak ng Diyos, lahat tayo may potential. Diba? So if you're saying this is the best seed of the best kind of mango only found in the Philippines, that seed, sabi ni Dr. Miles Monroe, has all the elements of success. Ang kailangan mo na lang good soil. Diba? So if we saying that all around the world, tinitingala ang Pilipino, whether they are household workers, whether they are nurses, whether they are engineers. In fact, in the West, may mga mayors, may mga justices na of Filipino lineage, no? So ang point ko is that ang trabaho ng education, DepEd, CHED, TESDA, is to provide the good soil or the environment so that the seed can prosper and become a plant, and the plant or tree become a forest. Having said that, in acknowledging our CHED chairperson, I want to acknowledge also, and we are very blessed today to have both our majority leader and Senator Win Gatchalian, because Senator Win Gatchalian is now the chairman of the Senate Committee on Finance. His heart is in education. He's asked to personally lead the budget of the education department, so he's being here. So Sen Win and Sen Joel, alam niyo si Joel naman na TESDA man, so although he'll be also active on the technical education part. I just want to mention another thing in the opening remarks, no? There was wisdom when Senator Ed Angara said trifocalization, di ba? Ihiwalay natin ang basic ed, ang CHED at saka TESDA. So in the same manner, even before getting to DFA, sabi ko, dapat ihiwalay natin ang Department of Migrant Workers sa DFA. And Joel supported me here in the Senate, Bongo, ako naman sa House. The reason for that, ma'am, is when I was in the DFA, tinanong ako ng mga USEC ko, lalo yung USEC for migrant workers, Sir, ngayon na secretary ka na at nasa iyo yung responsibilities ng OFWs, tama ba na ituloy pa rin natin yung bill? Sabi ko sa kanya, tignan mo, Sarah, I think she's here. So, ayan, si Sarah, who was the USEC for migrant workers. Sabi ko, Sarah, tignan mo sa Saudi. When we talked to the minister, we had a list of about 10 things. Sa maybe item number 1 or 2 was OFWs. Yung sub-item natin sa OFWs, mga 10. Pero meron tayong economic, meron tayong anti-terrorism, ang dami nating agenda. So the reality is, hindi naman to parang best friends, Sen Win, di ba? Na parang, Sen, dinner tayo, eto yung 10 kailangan ko. May give and take yan eh, di ba? So if you have a separate department na walang ibang ginawa, kung hindi maghanap ng mas magandang mga bansa na safe ang OFWs, mataas ang sweldo, human talaga ang tingin sa kanila. So if I had a counterpart then, by the way, the foreign minister then was so gracious and ang daming ginawa, even yung problema sa Kuwait. He picked up the phone and called the Kuwait foreign minister. Sabi niya, we have a good friend here. Finally, we have a brother in the Philippines. Please take care of him and solve your problem. Ginanon niya talaga. But if I had the secretary there, then sana I would have taken up yung economic, yung then he would have had a separate meeting or nagsabay kami. So yun ang benefit naman, di ba? So now CHED can focus on our state use, on our private universities, on worldwide trends, etc. But ang problema naman, for example, one reason, Senwin, yung bill mo, which we will prioritize yung 3 years, is because nga some colleges are saying, hindi pa ready from DepEd. Ganon din sa TESDA. When we have them here next week or the week after, they're supposed to have Brad MC2, NC2 at least when you graduate from high school. Pero nung nag-hearing kami last time, wala pati assessment, and then may 3-year course na rin sila. So hindi ka ba malilito ngayon? Sabi nila dapat nung nag-K-12, wala nang out-of-school youth. Ngayon, hindi lang nagkaroon ng out-of-school youth. Ngayon, parang sandali, 3.5 to 4 years on CHED, 3 years on TESDA. So I think there's also a disadvantage na naghiwalay yung tatlo. That's why si Senwin, of course si Doc Carol, Attorney Erap, and EDCOM Joel, the congressman proposed na meron cluster sa Senate. But I was surprised that nung time ni Chair Popoy, minsan lang or hindi sila nagmi-meet as yung tatlo, no? So of course we cannot force, but ma'am said that they will, and I encouraging. So my last point, one of our priorities will be EDCOM 3 bill na napunta dito, but one of the changes in EDCOM 3 is we are going to ask kung pwede na yung CHED chairperson, Secretary ng Education, and the TESDA Director General, no, will be part of the EDCOM. So parang parliamentary na. So instead of purely legislative at ibigay sa inyo, will interact already, no? Of course, Senator Tulfo is here from his first day, actually even before he became a senator, no, from the persistent issues of mga naniningil sa PTA to abuses sa students to ghost projects in DepEd. He's been on top of it. So let me stop there. So with the permission of everyone, if you have a 2-3 minute opening statement, the senators afterwards will give I promise the CHED chair that this will be a hearing in the sense that we will listen to their presentation. Yeah, but before that, I'll follow the order na nung dumating. Senator Win.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My greetings also to Chairperson Shirley Agrupis, who's heading now the CHED. And I'll take off for Senator Alan mentioned earlier na over the past few years, talagang nagtrabaho po yung EDCOM 2 para mapag-aralan yung mga problema natin sa edukasyon. Si Chairman Alan Cayetano is also a member. Si Senator Joel Villanueva is also a member, and si Commissioner Shirley Agrupis is an active participant of EDCOM 2. Hindi ho siya nag-absent. Diyan ho namin nakita yung kanyang commitment to higher education, no? Yung ibang ahensya kasi nagpapadala representative or assistant, pero pag CHED, si Commissioner Chairperson Shirley Agrupis ang pumupunta talaga para malaman niya ho yung problema. At ngayon po na nasa Committee on Finance na ho tayo, pipilitin ho natin maiabot sa global standard of 4% of our GDP ang education budget. Ang kulang nilang po, Chair Alan, is about 55 billion para maabot na natin yung 4% of our GDP to education budget. Kung kakaltas lang ho tayo sa flood control project, yung 55 billion, kayang-kaya na ho natin maabot yung 4% of GDP dahil ang flood control next year is about 270 billion. So, kayang-kaya po kung i-divert ho natin yung flood control projects to education para maabot ho natin yung 4% of GDP. Pero ako naniniwala na mas mahalaga hindi po yung paglalagay ng pera kung hindi yung dedication ng ahensya. No? Dahil maglalagay nga ho tayo ng pondo, pero kung yung head ng ahensya tulad po ng CHED ay hindi naman po gagastusin yung pondo or yung pondo magagastos sa hindi mahalagang mga bagay, sayang rin po. No? Kaya importante ho talaga na yung head ng ahensya ay dedicated, committed, at meron ho talagang puso para po sa sektor ng edukasyon. So maraming salamat Chair Alan for spearheading this briefing. Napakahalaga rin na mapakinggan ho natin yung plano ng CHED. Maraming
Thank
salamat
you,
po.
Senwin, and I would like to assure everyone, Senwin really looks at every detail, and when he says that he wants to find that 55 billion, I believe he will find it. No, he will really look hard. Ma'am, can I also mention lang, just as I said, we listen, but since I think I'm the only senator, were you here na K-12 2013? No, so I think I'm the only one in the room so far who was in the K-12 deliberation, and dalawa lang kami ni Senator Trillanes ang nag-object noon. Ang promise is, one, pag-graduate, ready na sa trabaho, kukunin na ng mga kumpanya. Number two, hindi na nila kailangan mag-college. Number three, na yung mga subjects na general education sa college, ipapasok na para 3 years. Yung 4-year course magiging 3 years, yung 5-year course magiging 4 years. No? At yung tinatawag na from practical arts to everything from PE to music and arts to all of the STEM or automotive, mechanical, etc. will be put in. So without pointing fingers, the point is, yes, that's a problem for the Committee on Basic Ed, but it's a problem for parents if nag-out of school na sila after junior high school, or if they cannot afford the 4-year or even the longer courses ng, halimbawa, how many nurses wants to be doctors, pero ang sasabihin ng magulang nila, magastos. So, wag ka nang tumuloy. How many wants to be engineers, pero sabi 5 years yan, may board pa, di ba? Senator Joel?
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Good afternoon po to all our resource persons, especially to our chairperson, Senator Cayetano, Senator Tulfo, and Senator Gatchalian. The Bible says in Romans 8:28, all things work together for good for those who love the Lord. And I think it is significant and God-mandated day for all of us to be here in this one room. We thank the Lord for our chairperson, for his passion to inspire us to work together. And Senator Alan sets the tone for meaningful action that will strengthen our education system and ensure that our students and professionals are better equipped to meet the demands of the future. We have Senator Win Gatchalian, who used to chair EDCOM 2, now is the chairperson of the Committee on Finance. And as I speak, 2 other senators came in. Senator Bam Aquino, who is now the chairperson of the Committee on Basic Education, and Senator Bongo, who is also a champion for ensuring that our young people would be better off, not only in education but even in sports, no? And then Senator Tulfo is here, whom we all know is a champion in ensuring that government systems work. And when you talk about oversight function of the Senate, nandiyan lagi si Senator Tulfo para tignan kung paano pa natin mapapabuti ang ating sistema ng edukasyon. Ang representasyon po ito, together with Senate President Cheese Escudero, Senator Cayetano, Pia, and Senator Alan, filed ito pong Senate Bill 103 that seeks to establish itong third Congressional Commission. Whether we establish third EDCOM or continue the works of EDCOM 2, yun yung gusto po natin makita. And just for the record, we want to put this on the record. Yung significant number of Filipinos continue to bear the brunt of these gaps in our education system, and we need to do something about it. According to 2024 Functional Literacy Education and Mass Media Survey, yung FLEMS, around 19 million individuals aged 10 to 64 lack functional literacy due to poor comprehension skills. And this challenge is compounded by low higher education participation, which as EDCOM 2 reports, at marami po sa atin dito sa Bulwagan ito, parte ng EDCOM 2, stands at only 34.89%, which is, alam natin, well below the ASEAN average of 41.10%. We thank the Lord na na-appoint po bilang chairperson si Dr. Agrupis na been very active sa ating EDCOM 2. We support her, and we are here to find out, as mentioned by our chairperson, we wanted to listen, we wanted to find out how we could be of help in any way we can. Yung concerning po din sa ating bansa, yung higher education at attrition rate, no, standing now at 39%, with figures soaring to 93.4% in BARM region, 60.7% in Region 7, 59.5% in CAR, Cordillera region. So this underscored the need to proactively trace and monitor the deterrence of our kababayans in pursuing higher education, so that our education agencies can implement interventions that will address these challenges. Kanina binanggit po yung challenges ng K-12. Bakit nga ba hindi mag-push forward o yung inaasahan hindi mangyari? Dun sa mga lugar na kung saan po pwedeng mag-offer ng mga higher NC courses, wala hong kapasidad yung ating mga eskwelahan. So wala pong choice yung ating mga kabataan, walang choice yung pumapasok ng senior high school but to take subjects that are only available. Hindi yung what is in demand, hindi yung what is right now needed by the industries. In fact, I keep on saying this, in other countries, yung artificial intelligence is already embedded in their curriculum. Tayo dito sa Pilipinas, we're still talking about mother tongue. My God, we have to move forward. We have to see what's going on around us. So yun po, at maganda na nandito nga si Chairman Win, siya na ngayon ng chairperson ng Finance. Very challenging yung makuha natin yung 4% of GDP sa ating education sector. And but you know, nothing is impossible pag nagsama-sama po tayo. I remember when I became TESDA secretary, nakita ko po yung first-hand how the efforts of a single agency can create meaningful progress with our education system. Now imagine po the impact if all education agencies are working in full coordination, united in purpose and focused on achieving our shared goals. All my life here in the Senate, I remember the first 6 years of my life here in the Senate, I would always call for the PQF Coordinating Council because the CHED, the TESDA, and DepEd would not meet. Can you imagine, despite the PQF law, etc. So I think it's important na talagang ito, tinagtugma tayo ng Panginoong Diyos na ngayon may 6 na magigiting na senador na talagang very passionate to help and contribute in ensuring that we'll have a better education system. So I praise God for this opportunity. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, dear colleagues.
Yeah. Thank you, Senator Villanueva, Majority Leader. So I want to acknowledge Senator Bongo, and Senator Bam Aquino, our Vice Chairman here and Chairman ng Committee on Basic Ed, and maybe with both the Chairman of Finance and the Chairman of Basic Ed, we can actually host also TESDA, CHED, and in a joint fellowship and a joint hearing para hindi lang sila nagkikita na sila but with us, and then kumapasa nga yung EDCOM 3 maging regular to. So with your permission, Senator Bam, Senator Bongo, we'll give you time for your opening. Then we'll just have to do 3 things. 1, a quick approval of our rules because it's an organizational meeting. 2, we will spend most of the time listening to CHED. And then 3, may first batch tayo of priority bills, which basically deals with, I'll read it later. And then next week or after next week, TESDA naman, then we can start tackling the other bills. But what we'll do, we'll create the technical working groups later on, precisely so that we can start the work on it. Senator Win, I'll give this to you. Ni-research lang namin, sa DPWH pala, they have a EAO, 1% to 3.5% for any project above 1 million. ang napupunta to sa either central office, regional director, or sa DE. Ang purpose daw nito is testing and quality control, construction project management, and pre-construction activities, acquisition and repair, etc. Nagulat ako that in the last 4 years, 2022 to 2025, it's a staggering 94 billion pesos. So, kung pang testing at quality control pero wala naman palang quality and ghost project pa, sayang tong pondo na to. So may I respectfully hand it over to you. Baka gusto mong tingnan to. It's mostly 20 billion a year. Yeah, isusumbong ko na kay Tulfo yung iyaw na yan. So,
Yeah.
Senator, go with your permission, Senator. Senator Tulfo, then Senator go, then Senator Bam.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. A few days ago, nag-post po ako sa Facebook account ko, nanawagan sa mga newly graduates kung ano yung mga struggles nila na encounter. And 4 stood out. Karamihan. Sinasabi nila ang problema ay yung hinahanapan sila palagi na experience. Pag walang experience, hindi sila nakakatanggap na kukuha sa trabaho. Pangalawa, yung tinatawag na age requirement o age limit. So nagsiset agad ng age doon sa requirement para sa job na gusto nang applyan. Pangatlo, job mismatch. Ibig sabihin, gusto nilang mag-apply para sa isang trabaho. Let's say, gusto na mag-apply for clerk, limbawa. Pero wala namang available na job para sa clerk for them. So they end up becoming a security guard. Something like that. Now, ang gusto ko sana mangyari dito, the reason why I said this is sana merong coordination sa DOLE at saka yung CHED para yung mga estudyante bago man lang sila pumasok sa koleyo, kumbaga sineseminar sila, ina-orient sila kung ano ba talaga ang bagay na kurso para sa kanila na dapat pag-isipan na mabuti para pag-graduate nila, yung kurso na talagang para sa kanila ay makukuha nila because nandun yung drive nila eh. And another thing na gusto ko yung sana talakayin later ay yung pagtututok sana ng CHED sa mga sports activities inside campus. Halimbawa, 3 nang namatay na estudyante sa loob ng campus because of athletic activities. Yung Israel Usamudian, 19 years old Nigerian, na-collapse during training sa UP. Arshlyn Abong, 18 years old, player ng National University Girls Basketball Team, died after collapsing during training. Nandiyan din si Mark Mateo Castillo, 20 years old, boxer, nagtitrain sa State College, namatay. So siguro may programa dapat ang CHED para i-monitor itong mga athletic activities ng mga estudyante natin. Now, isa pa na gusto ko matalakay din later on ay yung tumataas na insidente ng suicide sa koleyo. At bakit? Dahil bagsak. Hindi kaya nilang matanggap na bumagsak ang kanilang grades at sila ay mababash ng kanilang mga peers o dili kaya sila ay mapapagalitan ng parents, they end up committing suicide. And tumatango po kay ma'am, alam niyo siguro na talagang nangyari ito. So we should have a program na para ma-address itong ganitong seryosong problema na kung saan mga estudyante natin dahil lang hindi nakakuha ng tamang grade ay nagpapakamatay. And then last ay yung hazing. Until now, whether you accept it or not, tuloy-tuloy pa rin yung hazing sa loob ng koleyo, especially sa fraternity. Paano natin mapapatigil itong mga activities ng mga frat, particular na pagdating sa hazing? Yung mismo mga professor ay member ng frat. So, this is something that we have to address. Wala namang problema magkaroon ng fraternity sa loob ng eskwelahan. I don't see any problem with that. Pero dapat pag sila ay naggawa ng activities outside the school, then dapat sila ay monitored. Dapat binibigyan nila yung information kung saan sila pupunta, anong bahay, or anong oras, etc. para monitor ng school yung mga activities nila and ma-ensure kahit paano mabawasan yung tinatawag na hazing. Yun naman po muna. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Senator Tulfo. And let me agree with you sa hazing, but not only the professors, the Senate President, the Speaker of the House, the Secretary of Education, and the Majority Leader are fratmen also. But I guess they are part of the solution rather than the problem. But tama po na i-bring up nyo po na, we have to solve it. It's been quarter of a century since the anti-hazing, pero tuloy-tuloy pa rin. Thank you for taking that up.
Mr. Chairman, because you made mention about it, we continue to condemn any violence, forms of violence, especially hazing. And in fact, we have been very passionate and actively cooperating and supporting our measures that we are passing in this August chamber in order to address these problems. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And maybe when Senator Pia comes, because she's a sorority member, the fraternities can take a page out of the sororities kasi parang wala naman ako nabalitaan na namatay sa or nagulpi ng husto sa sorority, di ba? Pero yung unity ng sisterhood ay singtin din naman ng unity ng brotherhood. Baka yung mga fraternities ay pwedeng matuto both sa sororities at sa ating CHED na dominated ngayon ng kabababaihan. Senator Go, you want to go ahead?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Esteemed colleagues, resource speakers, good day to all of you. First, allow me to commend our chairperson, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, for giving priority the proposed bill po, expanding the free tertiary education. We also laud the accomplishments of the previous Congress in passing numerous laws that directly address the barriers to education. I am honored to be one of the authors of Republic Act 11984 or the No Permit, No Exam Prohibition Act, Republic Act 12006 or the Free College Entrance Examinations Act, and Republic Act 12077 or the Student Loan Payment Moratorium During Disasters and Emergencies Act. Education is a right, not a privilege. Kaya tuloy-tuloy lang po ang ating trabaho. Bilang chairman po ng Committee on Youth, prioridad ko rin po ang edukasyon ng ating mga kabataan na pundasyon ng kanilang mga pangarap. Ito ang susi sa kanilang magandang kinabukasan. Mr. Chair, I am proud of the initiatives of the Duterte administration in making sure that no Filipino is left behind when it comes to education. It was President Rodrigo Duterte who signed into law Republic Act number 10931 or the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act. At salamat rin po sa ating principal author, Senator Win Gatchalian, and principal sponsor na si Senator Bam Aquino at si then Senator Alan Peter Cayetano at naging secretary po siya ng Foreign Affairs, but kasama po siya doon sa 17th Congress. And of course, our majority floor leader na isa rin po sa mga co-sponsor at co-author ng batas na ito. Senator Win Gatchalian, Senator Bam Aquino, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano, and Senator Joel Villanueva po sila po ay nakipaglaban. The landmark legislation provides free tuition and other mandatory fees for students in state universities and colleges, local universities and colleges, and state-run technical vocational institutions, providing millions of Filipino students a pathway to higher education without crushing burden of cost. The passage of this law was not a walk in the park. Papasalamat tayo sa mga champions nito sa Kongreso at Senado noong 17th Congress. Nabanggit ko po ang ating principal author, Senator Win Gatchalian, principal sponsor, Senator Bam Aquino, Senator Joel Villanueva, and our chairman, Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. I just also want to share that during the deliberations of this measure in the cabinet, economic managers expressed reservations over its fiscal impact, but we never wavered in our belief that free education is an investment in the country's future. Muntik na po itong nabito dahil may mga concerns po ang ating economic managers. Pero alam po ni Chairman Popoy de Vera yan na pinaglaban po natin ito until the last minute. Dahil naalala ko noon, meron pong free scholarships rin po sa Davao City noon. So sabi ko kung nagawa ni Mayor Duterte noon sa Davao, bakit hindi niya gustong gawin sa buong Pilipinas? Pinaglaban po natin ito hanggang sa hating gabi na hindi po ma-veto kahit ayaw ng mga finance manager dahil kakulangan po sa pondo. And finally, bilang SAPNO na Special Assistant to the President, piniliwanag natin sa Pangulo along with the CHED at napirmahan niya po ito at naging batas na po ito ngayon. Even with the Republic Act 10931 in place, we acknowledge that access to education can still be improved and expanded, especially for students in areas where public institutions either do not exist or do not offer the courses they wish to pursue. Persistent barriers may prevent much young Filipinos from fully realizing their academic aspirations, such as geographic isolation, limited program offerings, and resource constraints in public schools. Kaya nakikiusap po tayo sa ating chairperson at mga kasamahan dito sa Senado, kay Chairman Senator Alan Peter Cayetano. Alam naman natin na isa rin po siya sa nagcha-champion ng free education sa ating mga kabataan. I filed Senate Bill 169 by seeking to expand the free tertiary education subsidy or test coverage. This measure proposes the inclusion of qualified poor students enrolled in private higher education institutions, HEIs and TVIs, especially in localities where comparable programs are not offered by nearly public institutions. Lalong-lalo na po yung mga nasa malalayong lugar na wala pong state universities and colleges. It also proposes a voucher system that would allow academically qualified and economically disadvantaged students to receive financial assistance for studying in private schools, even in areas where public institutions exist. Sa pagbisita ko po sa iba't ibang kolehiyo sa bansa, napag-alaman naman natin na marami pa ring mga estudyante ngayon ang unang miyembro ng kanilang pamilya ang nakatungtong sa kolehiyo. Bitbit nila ang pangarap na mabago ang tadhana ng kanilang mga pamilya, ngunit napakalungkot pong malaman na ang national dropout rate ng bansa sa higher education ay umabot na po sa 39%. As recently reported by the Second Congressional Commission on Education or EDCOM2, ang karaniwang dahilan ay ang kakulangan sa pangtusto sa araw-araw na pamasahe at iba pang gastusin. Mr. Chair, as Dr. Jose Rizal once said, ang kabataan po ang pag-asa ng ating bayan. At parati kong sinasabi yan bilang chairman ng Committee on Youth na yung edukasyon po puhunan natin hanggang sa pagtanda natin, hindi po ito nawawala. If we fail to support them in finishing their education, we risk failing not just the students but also the future of our nation. Para maipagpatuloy ng mga kabataan, lalo na po yung mga mahirap ang kanilang pag-aaral, sinusuportahan po natin ang scholarship programs ng gobyerno. Tumutugon ito sa mission natin na mapagkalooban po sila ng inclusive and quality education. Marami pong scholarship programs ang CHED na maaring ma-avail ng ating college students sa kasalukuyan. Nariyan po ang tertiary education subsidy, scholarship na merit-based. Meron din pong tulong-dunong program, scholarship na hindi nangangailangan ng maintaining grade basta't nakapasa ang estudyante. We have to promote these scholarships dahil baka hindi lang alam ng ating mga college students na may mga ganitong programa. Minsan po hindi nila alam unless na nasasabi po sa kanila. Handog ang ng ating pamahala na pwedeng makatulong sa kanila para makapagtapos ng kolehiyo. In line with this, I would also like to raise some concerns to CHED. Tuloy-tuloy po ba ang scholarship programs ng tulong-dulong ngayon? At may natanggap akong report na plano ninyo itong gawing 1 taon na lang ang coverage ng scholarship grants under TDP. Noon, once mag-qualify sa TDP, tuloy-tuloy po ang scholarship grant ng TDP per semester hanggang sa makagraduate ang estudyante. We also got concerns regarding the delayed release of grants. Minsan po umaabot na po ng 1 o 2 taon po ito, baka hindi na po magamit ng estudyante. Mas kailangan nila immediately po yung assistance mula sa CHED. Ano ho bang naging rason kung bakit po natagalan po ito? We hope the CHED could look into this matter. May iba po, nakagraduate na lang po estudyante bago nila na-receive ang grant. Mr. Chair, every scholar who finishes college brings hope not only to their family but also to the country. Kaya tungkulin natin at tiyakin na walang kabataang Pilipino ang mapipilitang tumigil sa pag-aaral dahil lamang sa kahirapan. By empowering our youth through education, we secure a brighter and stronger future for the country. So maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair. Alam ko lahat ng nagsa-champion ng education ay narito sa aking tabi. Bilang chairman po ng Committee on Youth, nakikiusap po ako sa inyo na magtulungan po natin ito. Senator Win, ang ating chairman ng Finance, ang ating chairperson po ng Basic Education, Senator Bam Aquino, sa chairperson Senator Alan, tulungan po natin. Kanina nilapitan ko po siya na matulungan po natin ito. And of course, ating TESDAMAN, ang ating nagsa-champion rin po sa ating mga scholars, Senator Joel Villanueva. Maraming salamat po, Mr. Chair.
Thank you very much, my friend, Mr. esteemed colleague, for your privileged speech and opening statement. May I now, very comprehensive, no, and I think well taken ng CHED. May I now ask the chairperson on the Committee on Basic Ed and someone who ran on the education platform and hit the ground running with his committee to give his opening statement, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman. Maraming salamat kay Senator Cayetano for leading this hearing. At binabati ko rin yung mga education champions po dito, Senator Gatchalian, Senator Go, and of course, Senator Villanueva. Alam nyo po, the last time I was here, nabuo po yung RA 10931, no, or the Free College Law. At nung panahong yun, ako po yung Deputy Minority Leader, pero buo yung suporta ng lahat ng mga kapwa senador. In fact, even President Duterte signed the law, no? And that was a good example of different groups coming together para po sa ating bansa. At the last SONA ni President Duterte, and Senator Go of course remembers this, ito po yung isa sa mga accomplishments ng Administrasyong Duterte. In the Marcos administration, ulit, pinagmalaki na naman yung Free College Law. So nakita po natin na over 2 administrations, ito po yung highlight pagdating ng SONA. And yet, nakita po natin in 2025, nabawasan yung pondo ng Free College Law. So alam ho natin, pinagmamalaki natin to. Alam natin na maraming kabataan na nakikinabang dito. Alam natin na maraming pamilya ang tuwang-tuwa na may tulong. Pero nabanggit na rin po ng mga kasama ko, bakit yung pondo tila bumababa? No? So my intention for this committee and eventually with the Chairman of Finance is really to see how we can support and promote the law even more. Paano natin masigurado na mas maraming kabataan ang pwedeng makinabang dito sa ating Free College Law, dito sa 10931 and the other laws that have come out to support it even further. No, makita ho natin sapat na ba ang tulong sa mga SUC. Nakita ho natin yung mga SUC chairperson na nung nabuo po yung batas, ang baba ng kanilang tuition fee na nilagay, parang na-penalize pa sila kasi mas maliit yung nakuha nila. Baka po panahon na ma-recalibrate natin yung tuition fee ng mga SUC. Yung TES, na alam ho nating napakarami pong bills na nakafile about investigating TES again. Nabibigay ba ito ng tama? Nadidistribute ba ito ng tama sa ating mga kabataan? Is it based on need? Is it based on the intention of supporting our poor but deserving students? O naibibigay ba ito based on other standards? No? Ito ang gusto rin ho natin malaman. Nung unang panahon, which is back in 2017, I'm sure Senator Gatchalian remembers this, napapayag po natin yung private sector dahil sabi ho natin sa kanila, may tulong rin sa mga mahihirap na estudyante sa mga pribadong paaralan. At yun na nga po yung naging test. Kung ito po ay bumababa or hindi ito nabibigay ng tama or yung pag-escalate ng test ay hindi kasabay ng pagrami ng mga estudyante sa pribadong eskwelahan, naiiwan rin po sila. no? So we have our support for our students in SUCs and LUCs. We need to support our SUCs and LUCs to enroll even more students kasi yun naman po yung lagi silang nape-pressure to enroll even more students even if their budget cannot handle any more students. At the same time, marami ring estudyante sa mga pribadong paaralan na nangangailangan din. So I'm hoping that through the leadership of Senator Cayetano, maaaral natin to, malalaman natin ano ba talaga yung mga tamang datos, and in the end, really support the distribution of scholarships in a better way, in a more fair way. At the same time, madagdagan yung pondo dito, no? Si Senator Gatchalian po, our Chairman of Finance, has publicly stated that we will do our best to increase the budget of education even more. Sana po isa sa mga idadagdag po natin yung tulong sa mga estudyanteng nangangailangan both in the public and private higher education institutions, no? For the past so many administrations, talagang pinagmamalaki ito eh. 'Di ba? And I think we're all proud of this. Sa Senate, mga kasama, we all came together to push for this law. In fact, if I remember correctly, Senators Lacson, Soto, Legarda, even Angara, I think at that time, nagkaisa even to fund this even before the law was funded by DBM. Kumbaga po, ganun siya kaimportante, naghanap ng pondo para dito bago pa napondohan ng DBM. No, you remember, Senator, di ba? No, nung time na yon. So this law was so important, we found a way to get it funded even before DBM funded it. So dahil po ganun kahalaga to, sana makita talaga natin yung tulong at suporta pagdating sa national budget. Of course, we're happy Senator Gatchalian is here. And also to see kung yung pagbibigay ba ng scholarship at pagbibigay ba ng tulong ay talagang nararapat o talagang nakaakma dun sa nakalagay sa batas. Kasi many senators, I think, because we filed bills to amend the TESS program, marami pong nababahala na hindi nabibigay yung TESS base sa nakalagay sa batas ng 10931. Na base dapat ito sa pangangailangan ng mga estudyante at kung ano yung kailangan nila para makapagtapos. Now finally, let me just, kasi ayoko rin po mag-privilege speech today, ang sama na ho ng tingin sa akin ni Senator Cayetano. Finally, let me just say, alam ko pong nababanggit ng EDCOM that the completion rate is just at 68%. Tama ho ba, no? But when the law was being made, kung di ako nagkakamali, and I'm sure si Chairperson Shirley can correct me if I'm wrong, nung panahon pong binubuo yung batas, only 1 out of 4 students would graduate from the SUCs. No? So ibig sabihin ho, nag-start tayo sa 25%. No? Doon ho tayo nagsimula. When the free college law was passed, tumaas ito to 68%. So of course, malayo siya sa 100. It's lower than 100%. But we have to take note, and for the record, sa pagkakaalam ko, nung binuo natin yung batas, only 1 out of 4 students would actually graduate fourth-year college. So to be clear, ang accomplishment ng free college law, ang completion rate na 25%, naging 68%. Siguro po, kung mas dagdagan pa natin yung suporta sa mga estudyante, maaabot natin yung 90, 95, 100%. And I think that's a goal that we can all share para talagang lahat ng estudyanteng nakapasok sa mga eskwelahan ay mabibigyan ng pagkakataon na makapagtapos. No? So yun lang po. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Salamat po.
Thank you, Senator Bam. And maybe we can do jointly TESDA and DepEd, because if a number of them graduate and then instead of a 3-year TESDA course, 1 year to 2 years, many of them don't have to go to college. It's, di ba, pinopromote natin na degree is not everything, di ba? It's the skills and knowledge, di ba?
Definitely, Mr. Chairman. Yung isa ring na pag-usapan namin ni Chairperson Shirley kanina, nakakabahala yung balita na 35% lang na mga graduate natin ang may trabaho, no? I think the chairperson was quoted, or I'm quoting one of the articles or one of the interviews of the chairperson. Mahalagang malaman ho natin yung totoong datos. Kasi pag ako po umiikot sa mga SUC, ang binabanggit sa akin ay dahamak mataas na employment rate. Ano ba talaga yung totoo? Kasi once we find out what the real employability or employment rate is, sabihin mo nang after 6 months, after 1 year, after 2 years, doon natin malalaman kung yung course offerings ba natin ay talagang akma o hindi. And I invite Ched to go with us no in this process to really find out the truth. Yung EDCOM report po, napakaganda kasi nalaman natin yung katotohanan. Kaya ngayon, may mga reforma tayong tinutulak na talagang masasagot yung mga problema ng edukasyon. So maybe through the hearings with Senator Cayetano, we can find out those numbers, no? Yung employment rate, yung magkano ba talaga yung allocations na dapat binibigay, yung scholarships na binibigay. And through all of that, no, we'll be able to come to a better place. No? Salamat, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. And Senator Pia is here and she will teach us how to have a shorter opening statement because she listens more.
Time me. Start now. Very quick intervention because the time is short. Senator Tulfo raised a very interesting point. I'll just comment on one. Yung may age limit daw, we have a law. We have a law. It is against the law. Isusumbong lang yan sa DOLE yun. So let's ask Senator Tulfo to tell his followers, sumbong nyo sa amin yung mga name ng kumpanyang yun. Bawal yan. Okay. My next point, 3.6% of GNP, that does not include local government spending on their own. So actually, feeling ko lang, but we don't have the numbers. We asked before, if you recall, no? Hindi natin mabuo yun. We don't have those numbers. But feeling ko lang, lagpas 4% na yan if you include local government spending. Having said that, do we stop? No, we don't. Why? Tayo nga naghahabol eh. So sana yung goal natin, 5 to 6. Then maybe after 5 or 10 years, then we can go to 4. Pero naghahabol tayo. I have mga 2 more points but I will lead by example and stop there. Thank you. Marami pang panahon. Isusulat ko lahat. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And I'm really encouraged, ma'am, kasi sa tagal ko sa Senate, ngayon lang napakaganda ng attendance sa ganito klaseng hindi controversial na hearing. So this is a good welcome party for the new CHED family. I will entertain a motion to approve the rules.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, considering that this is an organizational meeting, may I respectfully move to adopt and subscribe to the pertinent provisions of the rules of the Senate and the rules of procedure governing inquiries in aid of legislation. So move, Mr. Chairman.
If there's no objection, then the motion is passed. Ma'am, I'll skip to the technical working group para all the rest of the time ibibigay na namin sa inyo. So we are creating a technical working group if there's no objection, and the first batch of priority measures, scholarship and financial assistance, SBN 102, intimately related is number 3, amendment of the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, RA 10931, SBN 26, SBN 130, SBN 169, SBN 503, SBN 514. Local universities and colleges governance framework, SBN 504 and SBN 623, and then creation of EDCOM 3, SBN 103. So if there's no objections, a technical working group is hereby created. I have not included yung bill ni Senator Win about yung 3-year college because I intended to pass it muna sa CHED, ma'am. If we can have a consultation with the private and the SUCs, instead of having a hearing and listening why hindi pwede, if we can have a series of consultation, then have a hearing how we can make it work, di ba? So I'll leave it at that. I hope it's possible. So, Comsec, please acknowledge muna, Ma'am Clea, all of the our guests led by the CHED chair.
Thank you, Your Honor. We would like to acknowledge the presence of our resource persons from the Commission on Higher Education, led by Dr. Shirley Agrupis, Chairperson of CHED, together with the commissioners, Dr. Rickmar Aquino, Dr. Ethel Valenzuela, Dr. Desiderio R. Apag, Executive Director Attorney Cinderella Filipina Haro, Attorney Ryan Esteves from the UniFast, Attorney Jerome Christopher Lanes, Legal and Legislative Service, Director Alma Patron, OIC Administrative Financial Management Service, Director Aline Magalong, Director of Higher Education Development Fund Staff, Dr. Sylvette Gunigundo, Office of Planning, Research, Knowledge and Management, Director Raul Moyong, Office of Institutional Quality Assurance and Governance, and Director Corina Francis Cabanilla, Office of Student Development and Services. That's all, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Allow us to give you the floor, and we all ears.
Thank you very much, Honorable Chairperson of the Committee on Higher Education. Indeed, I am overwhelmed. I feel a little bit nervous, but I would like to start that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. And today is a very special day that the Lord has made, because all the champions in education are in this room, giving us so much time to present what is CHED, where is CHED now, and where we want to go. And thank you for this opportunity. And I would like to acknowledge the presence of all the senators here, Senator Pia, who have been our spokesperson in the defense of our budget in the College of Medicine and Higher Education. Marami pong salamat sa pagbigay ng maraming oportunidad sa mga higher education institution. Senator Alan, marami po akong natutuhan sa inyo. Senator Bam, in so short meeting kanina, I captured your heart. Senator Bongo, maraming salamat sa mga support na binigay sa MMSU when I was still the president. And of course, Senator Win Gatchalian, ang unang senador na nagbigay sa akin ng oportunidad to listen in my research, and now we have the National Bioenergy Research and Innovation Center in MMSU. So marami pong salamat for this opportunity. It is an opportunity for us to present CHED. So I was not given the time limit, but I will make sure that I will go fast so that we can have more time in answering Q&A later on, because there have been so many questions raised already. But I'm sure that the whole CHED delegation that I brought here are ready to answer now. So I will go fast just to present an outline. I will present CHED in numbers, CHED mandate and programs, the CHED superpower, our organizational structure and manpower, the challenges of CHEDs, and the proposed strategy to address these challenges. So let me start by presenting to you, honorable senators, what the numbers of CHED. So higher education institutions are classified in terms of type. We have the local university and colleges, private, SUC, and to date we have CHED supervises 1,876 HEI, and with the total enrollments of 5.175 million. You can see the percentage share. You can see that inuunahan na po ang, in terms of number, mas marami na po ang local university and colleges than SUC. If we move forward, next to this slide, this will show us the national student enrollment in higher education. I am presenting you from 2021 to 2025, and to date, if you see the grand total, we have 5.175 million. And it is noticeable that private higher education institution dominates the number of enrollees. Next slide. The national education enrollment by discipline cluster. Yes po, na nakikita nyo po ngayon na ito yung mga cluster na we identified as priority areas. And you can see po that the business admin and law, you can see the one in red. These are the clusters that have been identified by EDCOM priority areas, but we find it deficient in terms of takers. Next slide. Now, so this is now the number that we are managing at CHED, 5.2 million students, and there is an increased interest in critical sectors. As you have seen in the previous slide, nakikita nyo po na ang critical sector ay agriculture and forestry, fisheries, and veterinary and natural sciences disciplines. These are the degree programs that should serve as a workforce to ensure food security. Next slide. So, consistent increase, tama po yung observation ni Senator Bamakino that the participation rate is 68.12%. With the present support of the government now, from a very low participation rate, nagiging 68.12% now. And with the current effort of the Marcos administration, wherein they are giving through, of course, the chairperson of finance, they are giving or focusing support to education. We hope to increase this participation rate beyond the 70%. Next slide. And this now makes us the second in the ASEAN region. Of course, we cannot beat Singapore. Next slide. So the number of graduates, what about the graduates? So sabi ko in one of my speeches during commencement speakership, we do not lack graduates, but we lack graduates who have the commitment to serve our nation. So from 2020-21, we only have 275,000 graduates, but during the academic year 2023-2024, it surged to as high as 805,000. The overall completion rate rose to 64%, from 64% to 70% by academic year 2020-2021 entrance. Next slide. So, what about the expenditure? Again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank the present administration for sustaining the free higher education program. We are mindful kung paano po nag-start, who are the people behind this free higher education program, and we are very thankful to that. Let us see how much we are spending for this free higher education. Next slide. So here is a table where we can see the increase in the budget allotted for the free higher ed together with beneficiaries. Honorable members of the Senate here, especially to the chairperson of the Committee on Higher Education, these are the numbers. So you can see that the number of SUKs also, that's wrong, 113 lang po. And then from 2021 to 2022, it has increased from 1.6 plus million to 1.8 million. So for the CHED recognized local universities and colleges, that is the LUCs. So sabi ko kanina, dumadami na talaga ang number ng LUCs. So you might be asking me, bakit 101 LUCs lang ang nandyan yan sa CHED recognized local colleges? Because we do not have the local university and colleges is created by the LGU ordinance. Ang binibigyan lang po ng ating free higher education are those who subject themselves for quality assurance. Kaya po ang nabibigyan lang kahit 179 ang ating LUCs ay ang nabibigyan lang po ng free higher education subsidy is 101. So if you combine the beneficiaries of the SUK and LUCs, it is now to date 2.3 million students. Next slide. So this is the percentage. Now, what about the test grantees? So nabanggit kanina that aram din po namin kung sino po yung mga nagsulong in expanding the benefits of the Unifast Law or the RA 10931, and this is through the tertiary education subsidy. The tertiary education subsidy is distributed to private HEI, SUCS, and LUCS. Siyempre po, ang state university and colleges and LUCS are prioritized but following the DSWD listing. Anong ang pumupunta sa private higher education institution, binibigyan po natin sila sa mga provinces na walang SUCS or LUCS. That's what we call PNSL. PNSL. So you can see that listahanan, we have the PNSL and then the 4Ps and their corresponding share. And you would notice from 2020, 2021, if you go to the next slide, para punta tayo to the present, to the current status now, to 2024. Sa 2023-2024 po, we have a total PES grantees across listahanan, PNSL, and 4Ps, resounding to 713,000 beneficiaries. This is the tertiary education subsidy. I would like to explain further that the 4Ps and the listahanan and the 4Ps are those provided by the DSWD. And then this is based on the prioritization based on sa poorest of the poor. Sa PNSL, kahit hindi po siya kabilang sa poorest of the poor, kung naka-enroll siya sa higher education na walang SUCS and LUC or government-funded university, binibigyan po natin sila. Next slide. So those are the expenditures that we are encountering in the commission. Now, what about yung mga mandates and programs ng commission? Just a glimpse para po sa information ng karamihan po ng through RA 772, we have a Higher Education Act of 1994, and this is the creation of the Commission on Higher Education. The mandate is very clear, which is next slide, which is the regulation, next slide, and development. So the mandate that is the higher education regulation. So these are the major mandate of the Commission on Higher Education based as provided in Section 8 of Republic Act 7722. Regulation means go to the next. So among the regulation programs that we are working as the programs we establish or develop programs and standards for every degree program that we offer across across higher education institution, be it government or public. And then we also do craft policies for the government authorization, institutional recognition of LUCS, that ito yung sinasabi ko kanina, while LUCS are created by the local government units, we still have that the mandate to institutionally recognize them based on the quality standards that we have developed, and that we also craft and develop institutionalization of the Philippine qualification framework. In terms of, next slide, programs, madami po kaming programs na ginagawa sa CHED. Now, we take charge in the crafting of policy, monitoring, and evaluation of the autonomous and deregulated status of more than 1,700 private higher education in the Philippines. And then we also have developed the programs in the migration of college to university status. We also take charge in the SUC leveling from a scale of 1 to 4. That is the SUC leveling based on a standard key result areas. And then we develop criteria and monitor the Center of Excellence, Center of Development, And then we also take charge in the transnational education. Now, as part of our development programs, we implement several scholarship, as mentioned a while ago by our dear Senator Go. Marami po tayong ginagawang ini-implement na scholarship program, and from CHED Merit Scholarship down to CCAP, the grants in aid, ito po yung mga ginagawa namin. We do not only give a scholarship to students, but we also give a scholarship to our faculty and non-teaching staff in order to have an inclusive upskilling of our workforce in the higher education institution. Also, we have development programs for the grants in aid, and then upgrading their research and extension programs. Next slide. Move forward. Second, tapos na yan. Next slide. So, all the above, the foregoing mandates and programs that we are doing at the Commission on Higher Education, ito po yung aming organizational structure. And I would like to move to the number of plantilla and plantilla authorized for the Commission on Higher Education. Next slide. So just this one. Now, I repeat, we monitor 5.2 million students. We monitor, in terms of quality assurance, almost 2,000 Philippine higher education institutions. We implement programs, but this is the number of manpower that we have. The authorized plantilla position from central office to regional offices, we have 700 plantilla position. Now, each depending on the geographical location of the different regional offices, to date, we have already 17 regional offices, regional CHED offices across the different regions in the country, plus the newly established region, the Negros Island region. So, nagiging 17 na po. Across region, monitoring almost 9,000 degree programs in the Philippines. Meron lang po kaming 700 plantilla position. Next slide. And so because of that limited plantilla position, we have mas marami pong COS and JOS namin. So if we put together the 700 plantilla position plus contract of service and job order, we have 1,468 running the higher education institution, overseeing the aforementioned programs and mandates of the commission. Next slide, please. So what are the challenges? Ito na po yung ihahain namin po sa inyo. But the challenges, in fact, these challenges that you are seeing in the board was the immediate answer when the good president asked me, what are the challenges? Have you listed down the things that need to be done in the higher education? So these are the challenges that I presented to the president. Fragmented education system. While it is true na meron tayong trifocalized education system, medyo tama po yung observation, hindi masyadong nag-uusap noon ang mga secretaries ng trifocalized education, si Sec Sunny ng DepEd, si Sec Kiko Benitez ng TESDA, and the higher education institution. Pero ngayon po, Honorable Chairperson, nag-uusap na po kami. Nagde-date kami every month, official during the daytime and little dinner in the nighttime, and we maintain a chat group. So also another challenge is the lack of demand-driven, nationally coordinated human capital development framework. Among the Southeast Asian neighbors, tayo lang po ang walang centralized data as to demand of workforce vis-a-vis the supply, which should be the input of all 2,000 higher education institutions to avoid oversubscription and undersubscription of degree program. We also lack mechanism to utilize higher education institution expertise in research. We've been spending so much in research, but if we measure against the return of investment, medyo po hindi masyadong nakukuha yung expected return of investment. Absence of a centralized data system. This is the problem. Admittedly, we do not have the centralized data system. We've been pushing digitalization to higher education institutions, but at CHED, that's the reason why we are somewhat late in submitting data that is needed. So need to strengthen internationalization practices. We do recognize the importance of opening borders so that we can further upskill our students and our teaching and non-teaching employees in the higher education institution, but also to gain good practices in our neighbors. We have outdated organizational structure of CHED by the numbers of program, number of students that we monitor, number of higher education institutions that we monitor and evaluate. The organizational structure of CHED, which was formed long time, decades ago, is no longer responsive to the needs of time. And then, of course, there is the stakeholder go back. So these are the major effects. So, Sir Chairperson, knowing all these challenges in CHED, the immediate thing that I did is to come up with a strategic planning. I let the CHEDians identify the root cause. Bakit may mga ganitong challenges? Hindi po ako yung nagsabi, but they themselves identified what have been overlooked. Next slide. So we asked them to make the problem 3. So you can see the major causes why we have this concerns that I have just identified. And then the effects are very clear. And this is pointing out to the challenges that I have just presented to you. But during that strategic planning, while they were able to identify the problems that is causing these challenges facing the higher education institution, I let them think and strategize ano yung dapat na gagawin. So ito po yung nasabi nila, you can see in figure 2 na summarize po yung solutions na na-identify nilang problem kanina, and they foresee the positive impacts. If we are going to pull all our expertise together with the support of everyone, then we shall be able to create a positive impact for higher education to really create a quality workforce for the nation building. So ito po yung this is our driver now in arriving to our strategic agenda, which is coined as ACHIEVE. Next slide. Next slide. So this is our in a nutshell, this is the proposed strategic framework that we are going to address. We start from core values. We commit to uphold integrity, agility, modesty, service-oriented, motivated, accountable, results-oriented, and transparent. So, mas madali kasing i-memorize ng mga CHEDians, I am smart. So the trust and challenges are summarized in the Achieve Strategic Agenda. A, for advanced and accessible lifelong learning. C, for centralized One Nation human capital development. H, for harmonized SDG-based research and innovation. I, integrated real-time data collection and analytics. E, expanded and impact-driven internationalization. V is the vitalized policies. internal systems and governance, and effective and efficient public service. Ito po yung aming working strategic plan, and in our 4 days strategic planning we held last month, we already granularized the key result areas that we are going to implement in the next 3 years. With the CHED mission, we restate our CHED mission, our CHED vision that are anchored in the national goal and the national vision, which is ambition 2040, matatag, maginhawa at panatag na buhay. Kaya po nung tinanong ako ni Yuse Claire Castro sa Pozona, sabi niya, ituloy nyo on the spot sa CHED, from the perspective of CHED, bagong Pilipinas blank. So sabi ko, medyo nag-stammer ako, pero with the burning desire to improve quality workforce, sabi ko, matatag, bagong Pilipinas ay binubuo ng matatag na workforce sa pamamagitan ng dekalidad ng edukasyon. That was my instant pronouncement nung nagpa-fill in the blank si Yuse Claire Castro, and I am serious on that. But admittedly, we cannot proceed without the full support of the champions of education in the Senate. If you go straight now, which is the heart of my presentation. So ito po yung interagency. With the Achieve Agenda, we do recognize the interagency needs. We need to work with DepEd and TESDA so that we can create a seamless framework for the trifocalized education, so that yung graduate ng DepEd ng K-12 kung walang pera at mag-park muna sa TechVoc, we will make sure that there is an equivalency of credit before they go to higher education. We are now working with the ICT. The MOA is in progress because we are mindful that we cannot proceed with digitalization without them. Last week, we met already with no less than Secretary Rex Gatchalian to answer the problems on the distribution of delayed distribution of scholarship, right, and so many others. So we are now forming a technical working group to make sure that those listed from the 4 Ps and the listahanan, if still not yet updated, we will make sure na on-time delivery, prioritize yung 4 Ps, because we are here to implement the pronouncement of the President na unahin ang mga 4 Ps, ang mga college graduate na nakalista sa 4 Ps, so that it is our ambition that every single family in the 4 Ps should produce at least one TechVoc or college graduate. The DOLE, yes, this is very important agency for us to come up with the One Nation Human Capital Development. They will help us identify the demand in a priority areas. The Department of Science and Technology, we started also meeting them already, including this National Irrigation Authority, NIA, we also met them already. Department of Energy, I work closely with Secretary Green, and of course the Department of Agriculture. All this interagency, we already had met them, and just yesterday, we do recognize that amidst all this strategic planning would be useless without an empowered academic leader. So we signed a memorandum of agreement with the Development Academy of the Philippines. Hindi pa naisali yan. Next slide. So what is lacking? How are we going to run through all this? How are we it is very easy to craft a strategic agenda, honorable members of the Senate, but we need budget to run through this. And we commit to you that under this leadership, we commit to you that every single cent that you will entrust to CHED will give its expected return of investment. So ito po yung aming NEP. Ito na po yung aming NEP, Sen Gatchalian, and thank you for publicly announcing your support to the Commission on Higher Education. Again, I assure you that every single cent that you will entrust to CHED, we will turn it into a impactful return of investment. So ito po yung aming na-approban sa 2026 budget. If you notice that if you move na lang, no? Anyway, they have copy. I just want to go to the title. Now, next slide. Madami pong mga line item budget. The grand total that is due to na nandun sa 2026 NEP is 33,997,000,000. But bulk of this will go to the universal access to quality education, tertiary education subsidies. Lalabas po lahat yan. Ito yung minamanage namin program. But as to the delivery of our mandate and programs, kulang na kulang po kami. So lahat po yan pupunta sa mga schools, like for example, the universal access to tertiary education, the scholarship, and so on and so forth. 33. Ilang percentage ang pupunta sa CHED operation lang? Ilang percentage? Ha? Yeah, okay. So next slide. Next slide, please. Kaya po, through, nung kauupo ko po ay nabuo na namin yung aming Achieve Agenda. And then we do recognize this. Ito po ito po yung hinabol namin sa CHED ay sa DBM kasi ako nag-grant din ako mismo kay Apo President. Sabi ko, we are working in higher education institution. We are working in higher education institution, but when I went around to the CHED regional offices, para naman po silang nandun sa mababang paaralan. So sabi ko, where is the moral ascendancy that we feel that we are working for higher education kung ang kwarto namin sa higher education ay talaga po, later on makikita nyo po. And then, so we propose in order that there is a real inclusive upgrading of the CHED regional offices, we need this much in order to, because sabi ko, in the different 17 regions, we've been promoting tourism, but if we can make the different CHED regional offices as regional tourism hub, where all the K-12 graduates and everybody will go there, then it would be just the look of our CHED offices would inspire our higher education institution to work really for higher education.
Ma'am, may I interrupt? I think it's, I have to apologize because we ran out of time. But the good thing is that it's such a comprehensive and interesting presentation. I see my colleagues writing down notes. And I think yung CHED SUCs as a tourism, as a focal point din ng tourism is such a good idea. I remember yung parang namin tatay ni Senator Pia who's in advertising, sabi niya, kung gusto mo mauso, simple lang, tignan mo anong ginagawa ng mga bata. So the same thing, di ba, na when you go to a place, you want to see where the young ones are, what they're doing. So I cannot agree more with that. Having said that, ma'am, I think because there's a lot to bite on and chew here, with your permission, we'll give all the senators a copy of your presentation. Then Senator Bam and I will talk with Senator Win whether we'll do an EDCOM or whether we'll do a joint committee and invite you at a time na ano sa inyo. By that time kasi, definitely not next week kasi budget next week. But by that time, ma'am, we'll have an idea then of how we can help you sa budget. So with your permission, can I cut you off there? But thank you. You had me you start at values. Diba? So we're now looking for solutions for ghost projects, for corruption, inefficiency. But long term, it's really the DepEd, academe, parents, churches, values, no? So ma'am, may I give you 1 more minute to say whatever you want to say or if the other commissioners, and thank you. I will manage the time better or start earlier next time. I didn't really think that ganito karami yung pupunta, but it's a good thing. it's a good thing.
Just 1 minute na lang po or 2 minutes na lang. Ang hindi na ipapakita dyan is the concern ng SUKS. It has been 3 years now that yung 5-year transition, kulang na kulang. If you can flash the data now, the discrepancy of tuition fee ranges from 12 pesos per unit to 500 per unit. This was my rant and I have a comprehensive study on the distribution.
And ma'am, wala naman atang private na ganyan ng tuition, di ba?
Wala po.
Malayo na talaga.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Mr. Chair, gusto ko lang idagdag, no? Ang nangyari ho kasi dyan, the schools submitted their cost per unit. At yun yung pinunuan ng 10931. And then there was a moratorium on increase. Correct, ma'am, no?
Yes.
Hindi rin tinaas. So in effect, yung mga matitipid, parang na-penalize pa sila, di ba? So my suggestion, Chairperson Shirley, is if we can have a consolidated budget per SUC. Kasi right now, meron kang budget ng SUC na hiwalay sa CHED, di ba? Tama po, no? Pero meron ka ring alokasyon ng 10931 na pupunta rin sa SUC. Correct, no? So, to be able to see magkano talaga yung ginagastos per head, we have to add those two budgets. Is that correct? Tama yung mathematics ko po, no? Opo. Para makita natin per SUC, magkano ba talaga yung ginagastos per student? And then, if we can come up with a range na mas malapit-lapit, kasi ngayon ang understanding ko, tanggalin mo si UP. I know that UP is really out of the range, but everybody else, parang ang lalayo talaga ng per head natin. If we can come up with that analysis, baka po mas mag-guide rin kami sa pagtulong po sa inyo. The other one is, eventually, maybe not for 2026, but maybe for 2027, gusto ko sana rin pong makita, magkano ba talaga yung ginagastos per head, per student in an SUC, in an LUC, although I don't know if you have access to the funds of the LUC, of the budgets of the LUCs. And later on, kapag na-pressure ang mga politiko sa mga SUC na damihan yung kanilang enrollment, kasi gano'n naman po lagi, pinipressure na damihan yung enrollment, alam natin kung magkano talaga. So anytime that we increase enrollment, we have an increase, a corresponding increase in the budget para fair din po sa state universities natin. And if we can have that number that you can easily, I'm sure, easily analyze, malaking bagay po yan sa budgeting process po namin. So sorry, Mr. Chair, just to add to that.
One last point
yes,
po.
Go, please.
Yeah, you have seen how enrollment tremendously increased, but the infrastructure for classroom remains stagnant. So po, akala ko more blessed ako sa Mariano Marcos State University, but there are students who are already studying under the mango tree because from 8,000 naging 18,000. And this is not unique to Mariano Marcos. All SUCs have increased tremendously.
Mr. Chairman, just very quickly, in last year pa lang, nag-report na ang CHED that UNIFAS will organize a TWG to study the normative fees. Do you remember, Chairman Sherwin? So dapat nangyari na yon. Anong status nun? Kasi they even bidded out for the consultants who will lead these TWGs. What's the status po?
Yeah, thank you for that question, Sen. I don't know what happened in the past, but I just signed last week the back resolution awarding a consultancy. That's 3 years. Yeah, last
week. It took a year because this report given to us was a year ago. So it took a year to bid out those consultants. Because it's here in my notes from last year that it was going to be bidded out already. So sana under your leadership, hindi na tayo kailangan mag-repeat ng mga questions, no? Or remind what were the commitments made. Thank you.
Ma'am, in the spirit yung pinag-usapan natin na partnership, what I'll do kasi, and I'm asking for the patience of those who are asking for representation sa SUCs, nandito si dating Secretary ng ARTA, Jeremiah Bellica. I asked him to lead my team of representatives and kami muna for until December or January. But part of the mission I'm giving them is to ask nga every SUC what you've been saying kanina. And what you said, Senator Bam, di ba? Magkano talaga? May 5-year plan ba kayo? Anong infra kailangan? Yung basics lang. Back to basics lang, ma'am. Of course, the faith-based, value-centered agenda is there. But I think that's something we can do
Yes.
together. Nung panahon ni Senator Tessie Oreta, meron siyang Project Tao eh. I don't know if you remember that. I don't know if you're mayor already, Senator Win. Basically, ang ginawa niya, auntie mo nga pala, basically ang ginawa niya, let's start with the right data. Ilan ba talaga ang teacher, school? Kasi di ba if they say na ang average is 60 students per classroom. You don't know if that's the same in Manila, Valenzuela, Batanes, etc. So she did a sweeping just to honor what she did. No? So although all the data is there, as Senator Bam said, from a macro point of view, maybe even from the CHED chairperson or CHED commissioner's point of view. I don't know if it's presented that way. EDCOM is doing a great job, but nakaka-surprise yung pagdami din ng campuses. Some say it's good, some hindi. But let's get the data, di ba? Ilan hektarya talaga yan, ilan ang pwedeng gamitin, may private scholarships ba dyan, etc. and everything. No? So I think, I don't know what to name the project, ma'am, but as you said na the new CHED under your leadership will be guided by science and data-driven. So we want to help. I think that's why the House and Senate has a rep sa Board of Regents. So I'm asking for the patience na I'll do that with my staff and with a small group muna so that we can get. Then we'll distribute it to all the senators. No? So ma'am, thank you very much for joining us today. If you have 5 more minutes, we'll be very happy to acknowledge all of you sa plenary. And I'm sure the other senators want to at least shake your hands. No, so thank you very much. God bless you. We will not adjourn. We will suspend at a common time that's beneficial to all of us. We'll be meeting soon. So the hearing is hereby suspended. Thank you.
Thank you po.
Thank you.